Wargaming finally released in-game footage of World of Warships, Robocraft introduced its first melee and secondary weapon, C9 gets a new advanced class for the Mystic, and Cabal II came out of the blue and revealed dates for both beta and launch. What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending December 15th, 2014. And starting out the news this week, we have a first glimpse at the gameplay in World of Warships, or at least a new trailer made up of in-game graphics instead of a new cinematic. As of yesterday, the 14th, they've ended their most recent rock, paper, scissors test, as they like to call it, which is a version of alpha testing, of course with a really strong NDA in place. But finally, after a ton of pretty much every other type of video, we get to see some gameplay. And, honestly, it looks promising. On a similar note, it looks like Armored Warfare is making their final push towards the start of closed beta, with a new video asking potential players to join the already over 500,000 other people signed up for closed beta. In celebration for their beta sign-up numbers so far, they put together this video you see playing here, showing off the game's modern battlefield, PvP combat, co-op missions, and deep customization options. It honestly looks pretty cool. I think the only thing that they left out is when exactly the beta starts, because, you know, that'd be cool to know. All we know now is that it will be in Q1 of 2015. So not too long. Armored Warfare won't be the only ones rolling out tanks soon. Robocraft just started as well with their recent update introducing tank tracks and Tesla rams. Starting from Tier 3 and up, players will be able to unlock Caterpillar tracks, which provide a moving platform with far more stability than ever before, and more protection than any other part previously available. This introduces multiple connection points to the game for the first time, allowing players to further customize their robots around movement parts by focusing on sheer firepower, unbreakable defense, or pretty much anything in between. Scarier yet, at Tier 8, players can unlock the game's first ever melee weapon and secondary weapon / defense called Tesla Blades. These things are pure evil to anything they come in contact with. They're explosive weapons that activate upon contact with an enemy robot, exploding into an electrical storm and pretty much tearing apart anything within range. Plus, as a secondary weapon, it can be equipped to robots already using one of the 4 primary weapons. Like always, it's a really cool add-on update for Robocraft. So in last week's recap, I mentioned Path of Exile preparing update 1.3.0 with heavy focus on PvP, and now the mini expansion is released and the details are in. So as I mentioned, the primary focus of this update is the beginning of Season 1 PvP, meaning a shotgun approach to PvP rebalance across the board, along with events introduced like free-for-all tournaments, blitz tournaments, and Swiss tournaments. Free-for-alls take place in the Sarn arena like they did previously, except during the tournament, players get 1 point per player kill, and upon death, players are sent to a new area to continue the massacre. Blitz tournaments, on the other hand, are a series of rapid-fire duels where players get quickly matched against a new opponent as soon as the previous round finishes. The goal here is, of course, to get as many victories as you can within the certain time limit. Swiss tournaments are the high competitive tournaments that match players with similar records against each other, so basically it's a ranking-based tournament. And the tournaments will, of course, be taking place at specific times and will be going alongside the new Torment and Bloodline leagues. And honestly, this is just the tip of the patch notes, so be sure to pick up more information at the site post from the link below. And speaking of expansions launching, Hearthstone's Goblins vs. Gnomes is now live, introducing more than 120 new cards, including an all-new type of minion, mechs. How cool is that? And even cooler, in celebration of the new expansion launching, Blizzard is offering anyone who logs into Hearthstone between now and December 19th 3 free Goblin vs. Gnome card packs to jumpstart your collection. So be sure to get on that. Next up, we've got some recent news from H1Z1 with a new dev spotlight for senior artist Jeff Jonas, answering questions straight from the community. From the short clips of gameplay in the video, you can definitely see some awesome progression going on in the game's state, and the questions asked are nice to hear the answers to, like, will we be able to add armor to vehicles? That's a good question, actually, will we?
We have plans to have customized vehicles, and we have plans to add armor, and we have plans to have ways of taking things off and on. None of those are implemented right now, but we do plan on that, and obviously in this type of game, rummaging and scrounging for things is the way to go, so we really do want that.
The game is coming along, and the coolest part is we'll actually get to hop in soon. Early access starts exactly 1 month from today, on January 15th. Earlier last week, Continent of the Ninth Seal launched the latest advanced class for the Mystic, known as the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is able to perform both melee and ranged attacks without changing stances, as well as summon a device that watches your back. Literally. Mainly utilizing guided missiles, the Valkyrie dominates with device and cannon skills. She performs ranged attacks using a cannon with special abilities and guided missiles for either single or multiple targets. Either that or she might just use it to smack her enemies upside the face with. On top of all that, be sure to check the giveaway section in MMOHuts.com for a Valkyrie pack that gives you pretty much everything you need to wreck face. For at least a few weeks anyway. Next up, a new teaser trailer was released for SkySaga recently, showcasing what looks to be a dungeon-style mineshaft that leads to plenty of loot, other mysteries, and of course, a boss to fight. Wouldn't be complete without a boss to fight at the end. The game honestly looks pretty fun, even though it has, you know, a trove feel to it, but it does seem like the closed alpha is already making good impressions on its players. The players in the UK, of course. Also last week, Aeria Games released a new story trailer for Echo of Soul, introducing the lore, and honestly it's a bit typical as far as story goes. The old world was fought with gods and giants, and in the wake of this war, the world was nearly torn apart and soiled with the blood of the giants, threatening the world tree, which of course was the source of all creation. One of the goddesses bound her soul to the tree to cleanse it from corruption, and you, as the player, are protectors of souls and the world tree. That's cool and all, I'm just hoping the gameplay is innovative. I guess we'll see, because the beta starts up in spring of 2015. In other news, excitingly enough for most, Cabal II emerged from the shadows after way too long and announced a chance for players to be among the first to experience the game, meaning sign up for the beta. They're actually taking signups right now at their pre-launch website, offering players who sign up a chance to check out the game as early as this week, like the end of this week. It's crazy, I know, out of nowhere. Not only that, but the game has announced it's officially launching in 2015, starting closed beta on December 19th, 2014, launching in 2015. Probably not that long into it, if you ask me. Christmas has in fact come early for fans that have been waiting for some kind of announcement on this, and man, did they deliver all at once. Head over to the MMOHuts site post from the links below to check out any or all of the 17 trailers showing off gameplay. Oh, and of course don't forget to, sign up for beta. In fact, do that first. Next up, the new expansion for Arklord 2, called Eternal Strife, is set to launch tomorrow, Tuesday the 16th. The new content consists of new races and weapons. The Moon Elves will join the Krun, and the Dragon Scion will fight for the Azuni side. The Dragon Scion are sharpshooters who prefer to fight with pistols, and the Moon Elves prefer using their magical orbs, which get pretty elaborate as you level up. Each of the new races gets a brand new starting area, and of course Webzen also announced the opening of a brand new European server. I'm sure some of you are excited for that. Also going live tomorrow is Tera's new and first ever expansion called The Fate of a Rune. And luckily, Inmass hooked me up with a chance to get into the servers early on to explore the new continent of Northern Arun and attempt the dungeons that follow along with it with fellow press, and honestly, it's pretty kick-ass. Definitely check out my preview video coming to you guys very soon, and be sure to keep an eye out for some giveaways to go along with it. And finally, for our last bit of news, I'll leave you with a new trailer from Snail Games on King of Wushu. This specific trailer shows us several of the characters that are already in the game, along with the way some of the gameplay will look on the PS4. This version of the game will let players access 4 free beginner characters and unlock 9 masters representing a unique school. Plus, the PS4 version will also feature 2 exclusive characters for a total of 15 characters to choose from right off the bat. Plus, the Chinese version of this game is set to launch on the PS4 in January. Gotta admit, the game looks pretty nice. Those graphics, though. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to MMOHuts.com/news for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. But until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.